Well, hello and welcome to another episode of Three Crones and the Woo Woo. My name is Gayle Nicholson. I am your Dragon Slayer word witch, if you will, with Creative Command Coaching and Consulting. To my side, I have Miss Krista Ducharme, our traveling crystal crone with Dimensional Healing with Krista on Facebook. And thank you so much for joining us today. You'll notice a little things are a little bit different around here. Love to have you joining us. Hello to Harry. Hi, Harry. Thanks for coming. And Sue, who are already here. Grab a seat, grab a beverage, have a wonderful time. And it's so good to see you. Oh my gosh, Krista, how has this week been? This is like your first full week of that. Well, there's one more week until actual retirement, but
yeah,
what have you guys been doing this week?
Busy. We've just been busy, recovering. Last week it was about recovery. We're not as young as we used to be. So 4 days of parties and visiting and it was amazing. It was so amazing. And then, and all three kids were here. They were here for an extra day. So that makes 5 days essentially. And then on day 6, we had to get people to different areas. So it's been all about recovering. And then this past weekend, because I'm helping Tracy with the Magic Hat and stuff at some of the local farmer markets and artisan markets, it's been busy with that. So busy. We're keeping ourselves out of trouble for sure. Being busy. And I'm like, maybe how are we gonna have time to work? And then here's the really cool thing. We travel this weekend. So I will be traveling. And you thought that I was all done.
I did. Well, at least until you picked out your RV, But
you see. Well, I think we're taking Betty Jean, the Defender, on this little trip, on this little excursion. So we're going to Maine.
Awesome. What are you going to do up in Maine?
We are going to the Celtic Festival that's at Old Orchard Beach.
Oh, how fabulous.
It is. Class Act Imports is going to be set up there. So we're all going up and, going to check things out. One of the, there's a group that comes over from Scotland and I've seen videos of them. My parents have seen them. My sister has seen them all, live and in person. And they're amazing. So I'm looking forward to seeing them and just being back in Maine because we haven't been in Maine since 2013. So it's going to be really kind of cool to go back to Maine. It's a place that I love.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to doing that. And where we're staying, I have a feeling may become a spot where we can do a retreat.
Lovely. Oh, yeah. I want to see pictures as much as you can send, even if you don't. Even if you can't, like put them up publicly or whatever. I want to see all the insides. Okay.
Oh, definitely. It's really important to do that and share everything. So we're really excited. And then of course our big thing at the moment is getting Gregory his cybersecurity certification. So that's like everybody, the whole house. Yesterday he hit his first. His benchmarks he needs to hit before he'll be allowed to get his certificate or to go take his certificate exam. So, and yesterday he hit one of the big benchmarks.
Nice.
So the entire town of Leominster heard, I'm sure.
Well, you know what? You may be getting a visitor, not personally at your house, just in Leominster. I was serving a couple yesterday, and they are in from Australia, and they are heading down to Newport, Rhode Island this weekend.
Yes.
And they've got to pass right through Leominster to do so. And I'm like, well, if you're going to stop for lunch in Leominster.
Lovely.
It's a charming little town. And I have
Lovely.
friends.
Yeah. And, we always love Aussies. So I guess maybe I'll walk around today going, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi.
Oh, perfect. I wish I had thought about that. Right?
It's all good.
Let them know. Just keep an ear out.
Keep an ear out. You might hear some familiar sounds.
Right. That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, no. So yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. And we're looking for, so that's awesome. I think it's great that you had some Australians, and they love to travel. And when they travel, they just really immerse themselves in it. Mm-hmm. So it's really exciting. Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, it's been a pretty busy week here in Bennington as well. We had Mayfest, which is, for Memorial Day weekend. It was on the Saturday, and Bennington, being a historic downtown tourist area, is part of the Downtown Business Association of America.
Mm-hmm.
It's a federal group that gives money to downtown areas in order to keep the downtown businesses vibrant and stuff.
Yeah.
So we had the first of many festivals this season. This one's called Mayfest. They also do Garlic Fest the day after Labor Day, or the weekend of Labor Day weekend. They also do Oktoberfest for the leaves changing in the fall as well.
That's different than what I was expecting.
It's not necessarily a beer festival, though it should be, considering how many craft beer makers we have in southern Vermont, for sure.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of nice, but yeah, it's all foliage focused.
No, that's a beautiful thing. I love that.
Absolutely. So yeah, it was fun. We had a number of food trucks, and it was very vibrant. It was headed up for the first time by a new person, and I got to give her props because it was done fairly well for a first time out. Not perfect. Definitely going to be some feedback around the board table, I'm sure. But not a bad effort for first time out at all. Very, very, very excited about what the next few ones will hold. So that was essentially been my week, is just gearing up for that, handling that, because when you're in a downtown business like that, I mean, it really changes the day. And it's a lot of fun because, you see all the people that walking up and down the street. And at least 3 times I ran out of the restaurant to go say hi to somebody. I pull them and say, hey, so-and-so's here. Go talk to them.
There you go. Yeah.
I was networker fairy over the weekend, I guess. Anyways.
Well, that's a really good thing. Being a connector is, I think, is a skill set that people don't, that people, we naturally do it. And so we think everybody does it, but then you realize not everyone does it. And so, that it was a very interesting, when we were at working, I forget which, Kevin and I did another event. I'm like, we did something else this weekend. It's for Gold Star families, Operation, I forget what it actually is called, but it's for the nonprofit Friends Never Forget. And what they do is they fundraise for money to send kids of Gold Star families to summer camp. And we're part of the cleanup crew, and we're talking, and we happen to know the person who founded this and started, and we were all you met him. He was at the retirement ceremony, Jason Main. And he was there, and it was kind of fun because we met some people that were, have known him since high school. So we weren't the people that knew him the longest, but the very interesting aspect is during that conversation of being there, you just realize how many connections you have with everybody that's there, and you've just walked into that environment.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow. You did, another one of Kevin's shipmates was there. So it was like, so there were 3 of them all from the same ship at one point. So it was just this really interesting dynamic of walking around, and kind of when you're in a familiar element or area, but you haven't been there. And you probably remember this when you first moved back to Bennington. You hadn't been there in how long, right?
Yeah,
and you're
30
like, yeah, I don't know anybody here is probably what you're thinking. But yet, you do know some people. But then you got there and like all these people, and you're like, oh, I know far more people than I thought I did.
Absolutely. You're 100% right. Because when I came back to Bennington, I'm like, okay, I know Harry, right?
Yeah.
I know Harry.
Yep.
And then, I went to get a hot dog from a food truck near the park. It was called Double D Burgers. And the woman that served me, I'm like, you look so familiar. Turns out I used to hang out with her in high school. know, and I mean, little things like that where these people stayed and went on with their lives. And now I'm finding where they're at in their life, and that kind of thing. We had a couple of people coming into the restaurant first thing in the morning, dressed in scrubs after doing night shift. And I'm like, I know you. And she nailed my name out of the ethers, which is surprising because I don't go by the same name I did in high school anymore. So that was a flashback,
So what name did you go by in high school?
Okay. So I wasn't married in high school. So
okay. There we go. All right.
But at the time, I also went by my first name, not my middle name. I go by my middle name, right?
Okay.
Gayle.
Yeah.
And that's what I use as my stage name, if you will, my writing byline name, all of that. That's my name now. And I dropped my first name a long time ago because I was named after my father, and he's not a good person. And I did not want to be reminded of him every time someone spoke to me. So we're going to put that one away. Just call me this. We're good.
There you go. There you go.
Well, she told me the first name and that maiden name out of her ear. And I was like, wow, how long has it been since I've heard that name? Yeah. But yeah, it's lovely like that. And, even new people that I've met since coming back. Yeah. One of the most important lessons that I learned is I really have to be careful who I'm talking to about what or whom, because they have a myriad of connections over the past 30 years that I'm not privy to at all. And I don't know who knows who.
That's right. Yeah, no, you just don't.
It's always good guidance to watch your words and don't denigrate others that are not, there to defend themselves, because you have no idea what bridges you might be burning without even knowing you struck a match.
Exactly. Which is really good that you even mentioned that for today's crystal.
Yes. Now, before we get into the crystal part of this, I got to acknowledge this. This is so bad it's fucking funny. Okay. Well, I'm up at 6:00 this morning and I'm like, I'm going to do this differently this time. And I'm going to do that and blah, 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 blah. So I start working on these little screens. And I looked up, where is the sun and the moon right now? And what came up was the sun is in Gemini and the moon was in Sagittarius. And the date on it, when I went back and researched it later, did say May 23rd. Didn't register. I thought it was May 28th. So I went about doing all these fun things based on that. But that's not right. Okay. So here's what. So what I want to tell you is that over the last 5 days, you have been more adventurous doing the things. Good on you. You were right in line with it. Now, going forward, right?
I'm right? Yeah.
Thanks for me. Yeah, definitely. But the reality is today, the sun is in Gemini and the moon is in Aquarius, which is a different vibe entirely. Right? So I do want to bring you just a little bit of info on that. And I want to give a shout out. Thank you to Joanne Angelberry Cologne, who was our first original third crone. who her post saying that the moon was in Aquarius today was what clued me into reality, and I had to go research and realize that I had screwed that all up. So thank you to Joanne. This information here and now is actually given by a place called AstroSeek. So today's moon in Aquarius, your relationship with your emotions might be more complicated because moon in Aquarius has a strong need for emotional freedom. However, when you're in a group of people, it's easier for you to understand your feelings and free yourself from negative emotions such as fear, anger, and jealousy. All right. So if you're feeling shitty, get together with your girls or your guys or whatever, because it'll give you a way to focus on something else entirely and get rid of focusing on those feelings, those vibes in your head, if you will. Okay. All right, my dear.
Or I was going to say another thing to do is just move your body.
Ooh,
all right. Get out there and move your body, stretch, walk, pull up a yoga YouTube video, do something, because by just moving your body, you release and let go of all that chatter that's in your head. And it's a way for it to move on. So if you can't like grab a girlfriend or a guy friend and do that. That is a really great way. Before we came on, I was doing some stretching, and I then did a meditation. And I have to say that my body feels a lot better because I was able to do that. So
nice.
Don't underestimate the power of stretching.
Oh, big time. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, my dear, are you ready?
I am. So I was just dancing.
Moving your body.
Moving my body. So I have to, for those of you who are watching, and it's kind of interesting. Gayle, look at the screen a minute. Have you noticed I am light and you are dark?
Yes.
Light and dark,
actually,
right?
yes.
Yin and yang. This is kind of funny. I haven't, the space that I'm going to eventually get and be broadcasting from is just seriously not ready. So I'm like, this is the only space I can be in and be out of everyone's way at the moment and broadcast. But I thought that was kind of cool. So today's crystal of the week is Blue Lace Agate. And I have to say, I really love Blue Lace Agate. And I think that in some ways people underestimate its power. That it actually has. And it is a communication stone. It's also thought of and referred to as the stone of diplomacy. So if you are going to be having any difficult conversations, or you're going to be finding yourself in a space where you actually need to listen as much as you need to communicate, this is a great stone because it really helps our listening skills as well as our vocal skills. And it's really interesting. So years ago, when I moved to Australia, when we arrived, we were staying in an Airbnb while we looked for a place to live. And Libby and Wes were the hosts, and we became really good friends with them. And Libby is a singer, and she and I were talking. She had me go over to her mom's house, who was in her late 80s at the time, and give her Reiki because she wanted her mom was in pain, and she's like, it would be really great if you could go over and help. And she and I were talking one day about how her throat had been bothering her, and she had 3 concerts in a row that she was going to be doing the following week. So I handed her a Blue Lace Agate. I said, you know what? I said, what's happening is this is doubt that's tightening up your vocal cords. And you could feel and sense it, because it was her first time performing in almost like 30 years, 25 years, maybe not 30, maybe it's more like 20, 25 years since she had really performed on stage. And so they were making their debut, and you could just see and feel and sense the nerves. So I hand her this blue lace agate, and I say, you know what? I want you to put it in a glass of water and keep it overnight. And then I want you to drink the water the next day. And I want you to do it every day until, your concert. And, just keep refilling the water. Just keep refilling, the glass with the water. And, of course, the first question is it okay? I'm like, well, as long as you don't swallow it, you're fine. And it was a substantial size. It was a good size, it was definitely the size of a quarter or better. I'm like, so as long as you don't swallow it, you're fine. And don't bite into it or anything like that, because, that kind of crunch isn't something your teeth want. And, so she drank. So she was doing this, and I don't even think it was 3 days. And she messages me and she's like, Krista, the tightness in my throat and the tightness in my chest, it's like melting away. And I'm like, yes, keep doing it. Cause that's the power of the blue lace agate, opening this up, opening it not in an aggressive way, and opening it because it's your truth. You are meant to sing. You have a great voice. You have a beautiful voice, and you love and you're passionate about it. And so that's what you need to share with the world. And so it's been really remarkable. Every now and again, I'll get a message from her. I've been using the blue lace agate again.
Nice. So, I want to play this video again so people can take a closer look at the way the banding is on the blue lace agate, because what you were just saying about that, look at how that ripples out. Those bands are exactly, what I mean? Not necessarily a perfect curve, but even in their voice print up and downness of it, still this frequency vibration that is rippling outward in that stone. And I love how it goes to work, just how you described.
It does. And it really is an amazing stone to work with. When I'm working on crystal healings with people, there are a lot of stones that I'll change up depending upon, depending upon which stone is called to be worked with. However, I find that when it comes to our third chakra, which is your communication chakra, I use blue lace agate always. I have various pieces of blue lace agate I use, but I find that because of the clearness of what it does, that it really resonates with what everyone's need is when it comes to communication. There are those of us who need to learn to listen more. And then there are those of us who need to learn to speak more. There are those of us who need to learn that no is an okay answer, full stop.
It's a full sentence. It's a full sentence.
Completely. No. Or if you want to be polite, no, thank you. That's very appropriate. And blue lace agate really gives that power. And when I have to, truth be told, when I know I'm doing some tough or going into a situation where I need to be heard, but I also need to ensure that I'm listening, so I'm hearing correctly, I will carry a blue lace agate. I don't wear it as jewelry, funny enough. It is one stone that I am not called to wear as jewelry, although Class Act Imports does have some really nice pieces. And I like it because Sue gets pieces that have the vertical, that have the striations in vertical. And for me, that always makes me think of opening the vocal cords, opening to sing, to sing, to say, to be heard, but also to listen. So it's a great stone. And the importance of right now of us speaking, not just thinking our truth, not just tapping into it, because that's been a theme for over a year now, is really digging deep and finding that. But now it's about actually saying it. Now it's about putting the words out loud, putting them into action. Because it's one thing to write about it. It's another thing, to tap into it. Now you need to speak it, because that by speaking it, it brings it into reality. So those dreams that you or desires, you want to start speaking about it. And speaking, by the way, does not mean commanding, does not mean demanding. There's a difference between speaking your truth and bringing and just demanding that things happen.
Yeah.
Totally different things.
Yeah.
Very different. The energy in it is very different.
Yeah.
And so now is the time to speak the truth, not to demand and command that things are done for you. Or
exactly,
the way,
or differently, or the way you want them to be done, or whatever. But and this is a really good example, if I can pull this apart with you, of boundary setting, right? Exactly. Boundary setting is not, you can't ever do that again. I don't want you to ever do that again. Okay. Mm-hmm. Boundary setting is, if this happens again, here's how I'm going to respond. And then if it does happen again, you respond that way. You turn around, you walk away, whatever the case may be that you've said you were going to do in response to that action that you're not in alignment with, or you don't have any toleration for it, right?
Yeah, you're all done.
Right. And that's very Blue Lace Agate. That's just there. Yeah. I got my force field around me. This is the way I choose. And you can go do whatever it is you want to do out there. I'm just communicating to you, this is the way it is.
Mm-hmm. And that's why it's the stone of diplomacy, or the diplomatic stone, because diplomacy is not you're not a yes person, and you're not having tantrums is the word, but that came to mind, but that isn't really it. It is about what you said. It's a boundary. It's like, no, this is a hard line in the sand, and we aren't moving it. And, and that's okay, because that's what you need to do. You don't need to make somebody like you, make somebody believe in what it is that you believe in, or you can't make somebody do something that they don't want to do either. So it is a great stone for you understanding how to set your boundaries, but not only how to set yours, how to honor and respect others.
Yeah.
And that's for me, that's the key when it comes to communication, is it's understanding this. You want to understand what quid pro quo is? Good communication, because that means you're listening and you're hearing. And then it's like you're respecting. You don't have to agree. Respect is different than agreeing.
Absolutely.
And so no, that's that. Now I can say the number of the day you had as 5. I saw, right? I didn't double check your numbers, but I'm going to trust your number being number 5. So
there you 5 plus 8 plus 8.
5 is a wonderful number in terms of, it means adventure, change, shift, and adventure is what kept coming up for me. And I'm going to relate it into my life in terms of adventure and change. I am in the middle of change right now. Massive, huge, monumental change. But it's also you can look at change in a number of different ways. Change doesn't mean bad. Think about when, someone gives you change after buying something. It's always good to get change back, right?
Change. I'm sure babies approve of change. Dirty diapers, sticky.
Change is good. Change and shift is good. But adventure, because change brings adventure. And now you guys don't have to have adventure like I have adventure, where where it requires passports, or going and having nature touch you, as Tracy would say. I don't want to go and have nature touch me. But change is really cool and amazing and a fun thing. And so is adventure. And this week for me, I'm going to be having adventure. And you and I both doing this podcast, we know we're in the midst of change, because, behind the scenes, by the way, for those you guys aren't behind there with us, we're already talking about changes, and we're already talking about shifts, things that we know, we sense, and it's like we haven't quite worked it out yet, but we know it's there and we know it's coming. And you know what? It's exciting. So that's what makes it adventurous, because it's exciting. It's not something, I'm not dreading it. Are you dreading change, Gayle? I don't think so.
No, I'm not. I'm actually exploring, does this work? Does this work? Does this work? Does this work?
Yeah.
And it's all like mini changes until we actually light on what is the prescribed change.
Exactly.
Which path are we going to take going forward? Right now, we're reviewing the routes to get there.
Well, and that's part of the journey, and that's the excitement of it all, right? Is the journey. Yeah. So think of this day. It is look at what is changing. Look at what you want to change. Look at it in terms of what adventure are you going to create? This is that kind of energy that you want to, especially with Aquarius, because Aquarius is very flowful and it's fun. And in change and shift, it can be a really good thing. So that's where I am with seeing what 5 is bringing for today's energy. And then add in the Blue Lace Agate aspect of it, communicate it, share it, tell somebody what your change or your desire of change, the desire of adventure, the desire of shift. Because that really helps to solidify and bring it into action.
Awesome. Absolutely. It used to be part of a coaching program that their main guidance was that it doesn't become real until you tell someone else, right? It can swim around in your head your entire life, right? Yep. But your thought cannot become material until it comes out of your mouth as frequency.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, exactly. No, I totally agree.
So the only way for us to get that change that we're thinking about to become material is for us to be telling other people, this is not going to stay the same. This is going to become something different entirely. Look at what I have an idea for it right now. Let's play with whether this is going to be its final form.
That's it.
But it's got to have that. And of course, as always, the woo is present. I love how this is developing. As far as the communication, the change, what's going on with us, what's going on with the world right now. As best it can, Oh, yeah. At least for today. All right, my dear. Let's see what else we can pull out of this. I have a strange relationship with the word cosmic, okay? Because every time I hear the word cosmic, it's in the genie's voice, Robin Williams. Phenomenal cosmic power. And forever that space will follow along behind anything that says cosmic, okay?
Yeah.
God bless you, Robin Williams. I wish you were still here. So, yes, discovering cosmic harmony. All right, so this 3 words that have so much inside them, right? So, discovering cosmic harmony. That is that adventure that Krista was just talking about. What's under this rock? What's on that star? What's coming at us from the moon? Whatever, just that curiosity to find out new parameters. Where are we going? right? Amongst the entire universe, amongst all galaxies, amongst the cosmos. How does it all work together? How do we put forth what is our boundary separate from another's boundary? And to be kind and respectful in doing so, right? That good fences make good neighbors, they say, right? And harmony. Well, good fences make good neighbors. You can do your note over there, and I can do my note over here. And when it's played together, it's a beautiful harmony, right? Maybe more than 2 notes, but you get my point. I'm not a musician.
I
do. So, like Krista said, we've been on this theme for a long time, that digging down, discovering who we are, getting out of the way the boxes and bags and who's it's and what's it's that we have put in place to keep us from whatever it is, right? Whatever it is.
Yeah.
And getting that stuff out of there, putting it where it belongs, whether it's in the garbage dump, the hand-me-down bin, or the yard sale, right? Because sometimes we can take those lessons and we can make a profit from them. And Taylor Swift calls it selling your dreams. There's nothing wrong with that. So at any rate, there's all kinds of levels of what we need to do with the things that have come before, right? That don't necessarily fit into the future, right? They're an extra note that kind of sends out discord, right? Or chaos, or, it's in a minor key. It sounds like a funeral dirge, Maybe we could shift those frequencies, those notes into, maybe a Sousa march, something that's a little bit more upbeat and moving forward, right?
Yep.
So, as we're doing this stuff this week, right, with these things, with the energy of Aquarius, getting in communion with others in order to let go of that fear and angry and negativity, right? Anger and negativity. Speaking our truth, right? Putting that resonance of what's authentic to us out into the world at large, right? And speaking into change, all right? Now, one of the things that I want to poke a little bit deeper at with the letter or the number 5, speaking to change. That is not dissing what's wrong. That's not the same thing at all, right? We don't speak into change by taking an inventory of what doesn't work. That's something else entirely. Speaking into change is simply about stating how you would like it to be going forward, right? And not giving any time, energy, or thought power to that which you no longer want to see. Okay. And working with the chaos, or the cosmos, the chaos, yeah. Yeah.
I was going to say, well, some people might think you have to learn to operate sometimes within the chaos.
Absolutely.
But know how to step out of it.
Right. Absolutely. But working with the cosmos to, at a much, much larger scale, have harmony, right? And discovering that you can actually operate within that mode, all right, is groundbreaking. It's something that may never have ever even occurred to us before in life, that we could step into being an instrument of universal harmony by speaking what's authentic to us and causing change. It's that simple, right? We can do that. We can do that ongoingly, as long as we stay conscious. When we go unconscious and we start just reacting based on our egoic defense mechanisms of the past, that's not going to change a thing. It's not. It's perpetuating the past. It's perpetuating the same, right? It's a distraction. It's a time waster. And it does not build upon the future that we choose to have before us, right? What it does is it drags more past into the present, where if we don't eliminate it immediately, it will fester, take root, and grow back.
Mm-hmm.
Don't allow that to happen, right? Use your energy this week to do all of those things that are unfolding right now. And that leads me perfectly into this little segue. Check out our card for the week, the Magician.
Okay.
Right? So yeah, you have absolutely everything you could possibly need to manifest that which you say. Just remember to speak into the future. Declare what it is that you want to manifest, right? Not fix the past, not I've had all of these shitty relationships so far. Can you bring me the opposite? No, no. But I would love to find a man who has the same interests in dance as I do. I would love these positive attributes that I seek out. Not, I need somebody to listen because nobody ever listened before. You see how there's a big difference there. We don't want to give any energy to the past. We want to speak into harmony with the future.
Exactly.
And speak it. Yes, absolutely.
Exactly.
Now, check this out. Today's affirmation for May 28th. I channel my inner power to manifest my dreams. Right?
Yes, exactly. Always. I love that. Mm-hmm. I love that.
So every time that you start feeling tempted to pop off at somebody who's just doing the same old shit over and over and it's annoying you, remember that. Channel your inner power into manifesting your dreams. That's where to stay focused, right? Mm-hmm. Where to stay focused. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have anything to add, Krista?
No, I mean, so I really don't have anything to add in terms of what you were just saying. It's staying focused on this topic is really going to be like part of the alignment with what's happening early next week too, right? Remember it's 6 planets that are going to be in direct alignment. Now don't ask me what 6 planets it is, because that part I don't remember. But there are going to be 6 planets. There are 6 planets.
There are going to be 6 primates lined up.
There are 6 planets that will be lined up to give us this great show. But from what I'm understanding is it's also that opportunity when the planets go in alignment like this, it means the energy is in alignment and it works with us, not against us, not opposite of us. It aligns with us. So over the next few days, work on that.
Yes. And I want to give even more service to that. For those of you who don't know, Krista sent me a reel off of TikTok earlier today from my metaphysical maven.
I can't remember her.
Yeah, me too. I don't remember her name, but please do go follow her on TikTok. You can you can search for my metaphysical maven.
She's also on Instagram and on Facebook.
Yes. And she gives really, really good insights to a lot of things that are happening out there. I wanted to download that video and upload it so that we could play it for everybody during the show, but it just did not allow that to happen. I don't understand why. Whatever. But yes, this function, it does come around every so often. In fact, in 2003, in June, there were like 7 or 8 planets that were all lined up like that.
Yeah.
In that particular thing. And that happened during the My Landmark Forum, right? And everything changed for me then.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. And I started living the best life I had ever lived up until that point. And one of the things that my metaphysical maven says this about this week is to make sure that you take a little extra time for meditating and for journaling and for asking for what you want, putting it out there, frequency, energetically, putting out there the vibration that we want to grow into harmonically, right? And ask for what you want, because you just might get it. You know, this lineup and where Jupiter is at in this lineup is incredible, right? This is an excellent weekend for you to actually claim, this is the life I want. I don't care if I didn't think it was possible before. This is the life I want.
Mm-hmm.
And then take the tiniest little steps in those directions.
Yeah.
Along those lines, the life I want is to go on a crystal dig. Who's with me?
Yeah, I just asked the question, right? Hair Bear said that would be fun. Yes. So yeah, I am working on that. I've met somebody that in the area that we live in, actually in New Hampshire. She owns a farm, but she actually has garnets all over her property. And she's invited me up, and I was like, I'm going to talk to her. I wonder what would be possible, because she loves to have people come and play on her farm. She loves that energy. Nice. So I thought that I would ask the question. I'm sharing it out there because I think that would be a fun way for us all to get together. And so, yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Some of the other things, I love that one. I worry that I'll get all excited about garnets and she's going to be like, no, Krista's good, but I don't want people coming up here digging holes in my yard kind of thing.
Oh, it's not even a lot of digging. She's like, they're just like on the surface.
Yeah.
Yep. So I don't know. I'll talk to Lori. She is a super cool gal. I'll tell you, I don't know when she sleeps, but
no, I would love that. I would also love in the future for us to take a look at maybe Herkimer, New York, doing digs there, Herkimer diamonds, or going down to Arkansas and doing quartz crystal down there, or maybe heading back out to the Southwest and digging up some of the stuff they've got there. Although, it's difficult to find mines, commercial mines, not like industrial mines, but commercial mines in the US that allow digging.
Yeah, there's some. I actually follow a few that allow the public to come out and dig. Nice. And so, and then I follow a couple of crystal rock hounds, if you will. And I thought that I might reach out to them and see if they can also give me guidance. I would love to do that because I know that it's out there. I've just never had the time, opportunity really to pursue it. And I thought that would be a lot of fun to do. I also am, like I said, I mentioned earlier, looking for us to find a place if we want to do some, short retreats and stuff that's local to New England, local. So not local necessary to me or local necessary, it's like it's in your area or in my area, but local in terms of New England.
I love
and we could do a couple of retreats and things. So yeah, but we're trying. That's one of the things that we've been discussing are ways that we can create opportunities for us to gather.
Yes. I am so excited about it. I am very much looking forward to all of those things.
Yes.
And how we can fill it full of stuff that you all will be so excited by and fulfilled by and satisfied with, because we've got a lot of magic yet to share, and I'm looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because this is for me, this is fun. I love doing this, but there's so much more.
Yes.
There's so much more. So I was going to say, if anybody is going to be at the Celtic Fair in Maine this weekend on Saturday, it's Saturday, or you're going to be wandering around in the Portland area Friday, because I think that's where we're going to be Friday for a little bit. So it'll be like Portland, Old Orchard Beach, that kind of that area of Maine. And you see me, and you mentioned 3 Crowns in the Woo Woo, I might have something for you.
Ooh, presents. I like it.
I love presents. And so, yeah, I'm going to start doing that for people who also show up at the markets. When they see me, if you mention it, I need to grab it. I need to grab what it is that I'm going to be doing until it's all gone. So, yeah, let me know if you see me. And I have, and you mentioned 3 Crowns in the Woo Woo podcast, I have something for you.
Beautiful. All right, my dears, we're going to close this down early today, or early compared to how we had been doing it. I think that without the other third segment, we're not going to be going long anymore. I think we're going to be going a little short, actually. So thank you all very, very much for joining us this week. Thank you, Krista. You make Tuesdays the best day of the week for me. And thank you, all of you who have come to listen and watch week after week. We really, really appreciate you. And we look forward to planning not just more 3 Crowns in the Woo Woo podcasts, but more 3 Crowns in the Woo Woo type events so that we can get out there and hug you in person. All right?
Exactly.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.